Hello and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. Each week we meet up and go through map changes in Fortnite Season X, and now 11 weeks have passed and it's almost time to say goodbye to the season, so I've decided to put every single map change in one single video. Check the description if you want to jump to any week in particular, but this should get you ready for the event this weekend. So let's go back 2 months to August the 1st. You ready? Let's do this. Week 1. So Season X is about going back in time, forward in time, and staying in the present all the time. Yeah, Season X is strange. The biggest change comes at Dusty, with the former meteor hit now perpetually hanging over us, ready to strike at any second. The OG containers have returned, and also the factories. This area will be the main focus of the season, compounded by what is floating inside the rock. The capsule of the visitor. And it's already open. Round the corner, the Polar Peak monster has been skewered like an alien shish kebab at the end of Season 9, and now its remains are growing plant life in the shape of a butterfly, foreshadowing the end of the season maybe. Speaking of last season, the orb we saw cracking has now exploded, but immediately paused in time, letting us jump around in anti-gravity. Other mini-updates saw random locations pop up from seasons ago, such as Risky Reels, a nod to Lazy Links, an update to Truckosaurus, a corrupted building, a big hulking teddy house, a gnome house, and a nod to Flutch Factory. Oh, and the return of the chair structure too, and a billboard hinting at Moisty Maya's return. And finally, down in Westworld, the chair house was replaced with a TV house. It's messed up this season, thanks Epic. Hut Wash continues through Season X. This week, the third level of the structure is now in place. And one final change for the first week of Season X, the crashed battle bus from Fortnitemares is now an RV. Remember this, as Season 11 will be when the next Fortnitemares is expected to return. And every year, the crashed battle bus moves location. Week 2, the biggest news is the hatred towards the mechs. The community despises them. Elsewhere, the season's brilliance began, introducing Rift Beacons, made from the rocket back in Season 4, confirming our time-travelling theories. These bad boys absorb the energy of the orb and channel that power into what we call a Rift Zone. The first one of these this season was found at Tilted, which went so far back in time we cosplay as cowboys. At this Tilted, building and harvesting were banned. It was great, a sweat-free zone. Other areas to look at this week, we noticed one building overlooking Lucky Landing becoming a shack again. Strange shizzles going down this season, and yeah, a Moai returned above Frozen Greasy Grove, and the greatest discovery found in the wilderness, a shack where everything is upside down. But come on, we've seen stranger things happen than this. Yes, I write my own jokes. Finally, over at Dusty, we saw a satellite dish pop up. Week 3! Another Rift Beacon has popped up, this time at Mega Mall, which changed the futuristic shopping mall into the OG retail row. With a twist though, so many husks everywhere. Nobody ever dropped here after this week. It was a ghost town. Well, more like a zombie town, but you get what I mean. Week 3 saw one of the most iconic areas in Fortnite commemorated. Kevin's birthplace has a statue, as does his final stand. Right in the feels. Over at Dusty, the furthest container from the meteor began to be renovated. Items were thrown outside, and a makeshift workshop was created. The Rift Beacons were confirmed to be created here, and for 2 days, a fraction of the meteor was spotted on a table. This all confirmed our suspicions that the visitor had returned. Another awesome update saw the sweatiest and grandest and greatest players in Fortnite history to be commemorated. Both the winners of the solo Fortnite World Cup and the duos were immortalised at Lucky Landing and Happy Hamlet. These locations were chosen because they landed there most often. Now on to week 4, and yet another beacon popped up, this time at the rec centre. So I scored a few goals to say goodbye, as 2 days later, it was gone. And I mean gone. Nothing replaced it. It was a dig site at best. But there were corrupted pickup items around the site. The description in the patch notes confirmed the Rift Beacon malfunctioned, and this was not part of the visitor's plan. Over at the visitor's lair at Dusty, the building has evolved massively this week. A walkway added, and ultra-modern workstations too. An extra satellite dish popped up, and even a few weights, which now, come to think of it, was a hint towards a buff version of the visitor. We also noticed in week 4 that the TVs over at Spawn Island were slowly filling up Westworld. Guess we need to keep an eye on the TVs in future weeks. Week 5 Monkey Fluffers, and out of nowhere another rift beacon popped up, this time in the middle of, well, nowhere. And that place became Pandora from the Borderlands series, complete with a quest line and this awesome screen filter. And a claptrap too, the most annoying back bling in Fortnite history.
I'm single-handedly winning this whole thing!
We've also got to look at the dinosaur that was cut in half by the rift zone. Rest in peace, Mr. Diplodocus. Hang on, do you say Diplodocus or Diplodocus? Or do you say
Diplodocus?
Holy balls, Batman Hot Watch is almost complete. Look at this erection. The roof has now been added. What the heck will happen next? Up in Haunted Hills, a new monument was added. This rock-hard gal. A preview of a skin which came out later in the season. Over in Dusty once again, this week the visitor was spotted building, or maybe breaking apart mechs, scanning each part individually. What the hell is he up to? We shall see soon. Week 6 already? Time flies. And speaking of flying, this week saw the return of Kevin the Cube and his flying island. Like usual, a rift beacon brought him back, but this time it happened in Fatal Fields, and Fatal Fields remains in one piece. It's a miracle. Which also means once he's been round the island, he's likely going to destroy Hotwatch. Rip the dream. Week 6 also gave us a hinted crossover event with the horror film It Chapter 2. Around the map we found red balloons by storm drains. Once popped, they cackled and scared the crap out of us. Over in Dusty, the mech parts continue to be scanned and change routinely. Small updates see Season 4 posters found over at Granny's house, and no dancing signs found bloody everywhere on the map, like they do every season. The orb at Loot Lake continues to slowly break further and further, and by the way, the cracks on the meteor shine slightly brighter after this week. Something is going to go bang soon. What week is it? So week 7! Week 7 has arrived, and this week it's like meme world here. In a break from tradition, the visitor placed down not 1, but 2 rift beacons on the map, which gave us 2 of the strangest locations in Fortnite history. Greasy Grove returned. Yay! But every 45 seconds we were forced to dance with tacos in our hands. Yeah, weird. This tied into the new restaurant which sells tacos. Over in Paradise though, we got Moisty Palms. And I mean that, literally that's its name. Crouching here turned us into prop hunt objects, including a toilet. I told you this was a really messed up week. Up the road, the gas station was added for a low-key great landing spot. Over at Dusty, the building now has scaffolding preparing for a rocket launch. Season 4 vibes, anyone? Inside the scanning continues, but what could he be scanning for? Oh, and look where the windsock is pointing. Yep, straight at the meteor. It's on, mofo. Hotwatch got a lick of paint this week. Maybe a coating? I guessed it was birch, which allowed me to make a really crappy joke. Hotwatch is a son of a birch. Sorry. Okay, here's a weird update. The ice cream truck by Grandma's house has fallen to the ground. Something must be coming to take its place, but what the hell will that be? It's now week 8. Kevin's Island continues to circle the map. Hotwatch still lives, thankfully. But the biggest news of the week is the unlockable skin became available. The Scientist, aka Thick Boy Visitor. Depending on who you talk to, people believe he's either a new character, or like me, they think he's an upgraded version of the Visitor. No one knows for certain, not just yet. What we can confirm is the creation of the rocket. Here's the bottom section, which gives us a few weeks for the Scientist's erection to be ready. In the containers, we can also see elements which will be added over the coming days and weeks. At the end of the week, a new rift beacon popped up inside Tilted again, and get this, a Batarang had appeared next to it. I actually may get to say holy shit Batman with the right context. So it's 2 days later. Holy shit Batman! Gotham City has arrived in a huge crossover to celebrate Batman's 80th birthday. We got to become the Bat and spend time with our parents. Oh, happy days. Remember the fallen ice cream truck? It was dumped to make room for Batman's toys. Damn you, Batman. Week 9. This week, the Rift Beacon appeared above Pleasant Park and a few days later gave us Starry Suburbs. Originally, it was in the first version of Fortnite Battle Royale, but by the time the game became available to everyone, it was gone again. And then, in Season 2, it came back again. And then a few weeks later, it went again. Yeah, it's a bit confusing how that works. But anyway, right now in Season X, Starry Suburbs is back, it's fully renovated, and it has falling stars from the sky with weapons inside. The sacred golden SMG from the trailer can be found in Starry Suburbs. Hot watch, ladies and gents. I think this may be the end. After 6 seasons, the small destroyed shack is now the perfect watchtower with a fresh lick of varnish. It's been emotional, Hot Watch. What the hell do we do with our time now? We need something to replace it.
Version 2.0.
Hot Watch 2.0 begins now, over at the failed Rift Zone from week 4. There won't be enough time for this to be finished this season, so maybe we'll spend another 6 seasons together looking at this every week. That sounds good to me for some reason.
Version 2.0.
Back over to Dusty, and it's now complete. The rocket is finished. The visitor has worked overtime to complete this beast. And no, I won't be making any rude erection jokes here. I have a question instead. Where will the rocket crash land? Uranus? More parts were added over the week, but the big news is that the scanned brute parts have found a corruption, a virus in the system. From this point, the virus made all falling mechs explode on impact, which made many players delighted. Week 10, the last week, right? Over in Dusty, the rocket has everything added which is needed before the event, and the control panel became active and interactable too. Every few days, the signal grew stronger. Maybe the original visitor is trying to contact the new visitor. Time travel is weird. And then it happened. We finally got a date. The rocket projected the time and began to count down, as did all the TVs on the island. And yeah, that includes all those TVs at Westworld. And now we wait and see what happens next. And now we're here, the final week, week 11. We have the cassette tapes from 1980 to find for extra information about the visitor. The locations were Gotham, Starry Suburbs, Greasy Grove, Moisty Palms, Kevin's Island, and Retail Row. Oh, they're all Rift Zones. Interesting. The recordings were lost in time and maybe have clues to understand what the hell is going on this island for the last 2 years. Here's what we've got so far.
What the 7 of us are attempting is very risky. I suspect they are not the only ones watching, but it must be done or we lose the bridge forever. I speculate that no one calculated the formation of the island, that interdimensional matter collisions would resolve rather than push. Now that I witnessed it firsthand, it's obvious that pinching alone made it inevitable. When I hear this again, will it help me remember? Or once looped, will I be just as muted as the others? No matter, it seems the lengthy precautions worked. The galactic theorem was a success. You arrived outside the loop at the exact moment of expansion. This effectively paused the singularity, giving us time to create the devices needed to synchronize the junction.
As I'm making this video, the last 2 aren't available in-game just yet, but they will be in a few hours. Here's what they will say. What I didn't factor was the only way to trigger the device was from within the loop itself. Thus this hasty and primitive recording. And why now I find myself looped. Activate the beacon at precisely this timer reaches nothing. The 0 point must be contained once more. If they are correct, it will be the end. I legit think I know the real story of Fortnite Battle Royale right now. I'll wait until after the events to break it down. So do me a favour, if this video has helped you in any way and kept you up to date with what's going on, please use my code ADAMARU in the Fortnite shop. Let me know what you want in return. What about more of this stuff every week? Thanks to you guys who've used my code this week, and thanks once more to those people who've used it all season long. You are legends to me. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade, and this was Season X. I really hope you enjoy the event. Much love. See ya.